Welcome to More Than a Song, where you get a chance to experience great music in an intimate concert setting. I'm Denise Graves, and today we're featuring singer and songwriter Bob Bennett. Bob's ability to write songs about other than typical spiritual topics has always made him stand out. He sees spiritual themes everywhere, even in the least holiest of circumstances. Bob's acoustic folk style, wit, and honesty has caused many to consider him one of Christian music's foremost songwriters. Take a close listen to this marvelous songwriter.
My apartment overlooks the railroad tracks and a city salvage yard across the way. That's where they bring all the broken things. Just like me, they can't throw anything away. Sometimes at night, I see the fading, flashing lights of the barricades that used to warn the cars. An earthbound astronaut, but I can't connect the dots to see the constellations in those stars. Sometimes I can see what's right in front of me. I can hear what's being whispered in my ear. It's not like I planned, but from where I stand, I can see the view from here. I can see the view. There's just one little train runs by here, some tanker cars, the occasional caboose. It just follows the track, it can never look back. Me, I don't have the same excuse. Sometimes I can see what's right in front of me. I can hear what's being whispered in my ear. It's not like I planned, but from where I stand, I can see the view from here. I can see the view. The first early morning I heard him, I thought he was a jerk. This guy who whistled through my window as he worked. But now when I hear him, I can't help but wonder why. If that guy can whistle, why can't I? Sometimes I can see what's right in front of me. I can hear what's being whispered in my ear. It's not like I planned, but from where I stand, I can see the view from here. Oh, I can see the view. I can see the view from here. I can see. There's a man down in the street, says he's the Messiah, telling people he is the chosen one. Says that he is in the Father, sun. Empty nets made full of fish and blind eyes that see. Didn't he used to work with wood in Galilee? Now he's in the synagogue, telling people they are wrong to live as whitewashed tombs full of dead men's bones. Some say he is the Son of God. Others laugh and call him mad. But do you think he is who they say he is? Or just a carpenter gone bad? People talking about him wherever I go. Say he teaches with authority. Is there something I don't know? Say it is his fervent prayer that we'd stay in the Father's care and believe that he is the Word made man. Some say he is the Son of God. Others laugh and call him mad. But do you think he is who he says he is? Or just a carpenter gone bad?
Bob first picked up the guitar at the age of 9 and formed a band in high school. He found the Lord in the late 70s, and his second project, called Matters of the Heart, was named the 1982 Christian Album of the Year. Recently, Terry Black interviewed Bob about his story.
Bob, that song was beautiful, and it just reminds me, your voice is similar to one of my favorites of a long time, is James Taylor. Have you heard that before?
Yes, I'm always happy for that comparison. First of all, he's lasted a long time. He's still doing great work.
That's right.
That's what I hope to do. But also, you know, back in the day when all of us were listening to the singer-songwriters of the era, James and Paul Simon, Joni Mitchell, those sorts of people, these people were literally sort of teaching us as we were sitting next to our turntables how to write songs. And so that's if I get spoken in the same sentence as a guy like that, it's a happy day for me.
Oh, that's good. Well, I want to continue on this happy day. So some of our family, they may not know much about you. Can you just share a little bit about who you are?
Sure. I grew up during what Martin Mull calls the great folk music scare of the 60s, when that stuff almost caught on. So I'm camped out next to the family turntable listening to Kingston Trio records and thinking, I'd like to play guitar and sing when I grow up, which is fortunately what I had a chance to do. I started playing music when I was a kid, 10 years old, and writing songs, making songs on the way up to school. And then in terms of my faith, I was raised Roman Catholic, and I'm very happy for that heritage, but I went through that kind of estrangement period where you sort of keep all that stuff at arm's length. Then I picked up a Good News for Modern Man, which was the flavor of New Testament translation in 1977, and I started to read the Gospels, and two things happened. I said, hey, I've heard all of this before, but my reaction now was, oh, I think I really need to get much more serious about this than I've ever been. And so it was back just a couple days after my 22nd birthday that I committed my life to the Lord, and and have pretty much been, you know, hopefully, faithfully pursuing a life in Him ever since.
Well, when you made that commitment to the Lord, you were not really, were you singing Christian music at the time, or was that your start?
I mean, I had a few, you know, God songs and things that I thought had something to say, but it was, pretty much shooting in the dark in terms of really knowing what I was talking about. When I started to really get into the Bible and learn all the details that I had been missing, then the songs changed, and my expression and my desires to sing, you know, what to sing about changed too.
So you have been in Christian music then for 30-some years, right?
Yes, yeah. My album, first album came out in 1979.
Oh my goodness.
So
I sort of remember that era, because I listened to you when I was around that time period too. And there was some, I remember one song, Come and See, and I know, what's that, how does that?
I Know That My Redeemer Lives.
Yes, yes.
You know, it's really funny because at the time, I was attending a Calvary Chapel church out in California.
Oh,
that was
that's a Chuck Smith. Yes.
Exactly. And this was sort of during the Don't Miss the Rapture 70s kind of a thing. And so I was at an Easter sunrise service, the very first one that I had gone to after committing my heart to the Lord. And they were singing all of the kind of the Maranatha music choruses that you would have expected. But the guy who was leading worship had a Lutheran background. So out of his back pocket, he pulls this song, I Know That My Redeemer Lives, and leads it. Well, I fell in love. I loved the song. So I recorded it very early on. And I'm very happy there's a lot of people for whom that's kind of their introduction to the song, which is a real privilege for them to hear it from me.
Oh, that is awesome. Now, you write most of your music.
Right.
And so, so it's a rarity when you're not. How does that come about? Like when you write music, I'm always curious. Do you start with the lyrics? Does it come out of a life experience? Or does it come writing down the notes? How do you do it?
Well, I know it sounds flippant to say so, but the answer is yes. In other words, all of the above.
Okay.
You know, sometimes, I mean, yes, sometimes the songs are very much rooted in experience or something that's been on my mind or my radar. Sometimes I'll just make stuff up out of whole cloth, you know, almost like a novelist would do. Other times I'm setting scripture to music or hoping to illustrate a Bible story in music. And sometimes I'll write with a guitar in my hand. Other times it's a legal pad and the words, and then I'll go on the hunt for music later. And, you know, sometimes it happens very quickly. I've had songs where I've written the song and then actually recorded the version that went on the album the next day.
No way.
So, you know, brand new songs. Other times it might take years to finish it. I just can't bring it on home for a long time. And so I don't try not to panic. You just wait till you can finish.
That is amazing. So, I mean, having that's such a God-given talent to be able to create music. I mean, that's my opinion. Well, I just think it is.
I love it. It's a privilege because when people hear, you know, music is able to bypass a lot of defenses that people have, cross a lot of cultural divides. Bring people together, things that you can say in music that people might not bear hearing in any other form.
That's right.
But also just the idea that, you know, I sometimes get the privilege of giving people language to describe things that they already know, but they just didn't have the words for. Because because the truth is, when you listen to one of my songs as a listener, you're kind of doing all the heavy lifting, because the songs don't just mean what I sing. They mean what you're hearing.
Oh yeah, and you apply it to your life. You know, it takes on your message takes on a new message for myself or for anybody that's listening. Because you're right, we are lifting it up. That's really a great way to say that.
And there's so much coming at us these days from every quarter. Our devices, our media, everything is so fast-paced. So if you sit down and give me 3.5 minutes to sing to you, that's a real privilege. I love, that's my favorite part of what I'm doing.
Oh, I mean, not only do you do it 3.5 minutes, but you've done it for 30-some years. What do you think has been the inspiration for you to keep going all these years?
Well, I mean, jokingly, I would tell you, I painted myself into a corner. I don't know how to do anything else. But truthfully, this is the one thing that I always wanted to do. When I was a kid, this is what I wanted to do. But the motivation now is a couple things. I mean, just to serve the listeners as best I can, And whether, I joke that whether that involves some kind of eternal consequences or whether I just keep somebody out of trouble for an hour, and it's good work if you can get it. But also just that I tell people that I make soundtrack music for a movie that I'm not directing. So if the Lord can use these songs and my imperfect everything to be a soundtrack to something that he might want to do inside a person's heart, that's the great day at the office for me. That's the day that I am just happy to be collaborating with him in that way.
That's a wonderful way you're just become the instrument for God to use. Yeah,
and I get to do it with music, but I think that's really everybody's. You may not be a minister with a capital M, but if you're a Christian, you're a minister with a lowercase m, if you will. And whatever you're doing, whatever occupation you have, whatever your sphere of influence is, that's the place where God can use you to do his work. And so so I get to do it in a really wonderful kind of way that people really respond to, and I want to go do that, but I encourage people, we can't all, if we are all singer-songwriters, no one's plumbing ever gets fixed, or no one's car ever gets built, or whatever. Yeah. So my heroes are really the people who get to do all of the things that may not be their dream job, but yet they're out there faithfully doing it. Those are the people that I am really proud to know and to be encouraging to.
Well, and you do encourage all of them and all of us. Thank you for sharing your testimony and just your instrument to all of us so that we can be inspired. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks. So this is a song about my dad and me. It's called A Song About Baseball.
Saturdays on the baseball field, and me afraid of the ball. Just another kid on camera day, when the Angels still played in LA. I was smiling, and living black and white. Baseball caps and bubble gum, I think there's a hole in my glove. 3 and 2, life and death. I was swinging with eyes closed, holding my breath. I was dying on my way to the bench, but none of it mattered after the game, when my father would find me and call out my name. A soft drink, a snow cone, a candy bar, a limousine ride in the family car. He loved me, no matter how I played. He loved me, no matter how I played. None of it mattered after the game, when my father would find me and call out my name, dreaming of glory the next time out. My father showed me what love is about. He loved me, no matter how I played. He loved me, no matter how I played. He loved me, no matter how I played. La 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 la. But none of it mattered after the game, when my father would find me and call out my name. And this is an old hymn that tells all of us that he will make good. Jesus will make good on what he started. I know that my Redeemer lives. What comfort this sweet sentence gives. He lives, who once was dead. He lives, my ever living head. Triumphant from the grave, he lives eternally to save. He lives, my mansion to prepare. He lives to lead me safely there. And grants me daily breath. He lives and I shall conquer death. He lives and while he lives I'll sing. He lives, my prophet, priest and king. All glory to his name. He lives, my Jesus.
Thank you for joining us for More Than a Song. We would love to hear from you. Contact us at family@ctvn.org or call us and we will pray with you for the Holy Spirit to move on your behalf. Until next time, keep looking for the message behind the music and listen for the new songs he sings over you. I'm Denise Graves, and I'll see you next week.
I know that my Redeemer lives. Amen.